authorizing, 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 authorizing,
What is up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in for now, episode 19 of Pinstripes Uncensored. You know who I am. I'm CK. That's my guy right there, Anthony, king of the pinstripes. Yankee gear all day, always at the stadium. Let's go, Yankees. How you doing, Ant?
Doing good. Episode 19. Let's just keep this going. Feeling very blessed to do another episode with you. You have a special guest coming on. And I just wanted to address, I don't know if it's rumors from the past or rumors from now. You heard the rumors of trading 2 top prospects for Paul Skeens or no?
That was at the deadline.
That was already at the deadline.
That was a while ago. I mean, it never
So
happened.
it's not like starting back up.
Not that I know of. I don't know.
So why was it coming out now? Like if we already knew this from before, is it they still want to do it?
I mean, they literally can't. I mean, I'm not really.
No, well, not like right this second they're gonna do it, but do they still have that in their mindset, in their mind, going into next season, going in now the off season of trading 2 everyday players for a guy that pitches every 5th day?
I've never heard that. I
'Cause-
never heard that rumor, so I'm not really sure.
That's why I wanted to come out straight out of the gates with it, because call me crazy. It's probably like these little kids nowadays that only heard about Paul Skeens that really want some so bad, but I wouldn't do it. If the rumors are now picking up again, I wouldn't trade Spencer Jones and Lombard Jr. just for him. No way. Lombard Jr. is out of the question, but I just wanted to say that because I didn't know. I heard about it, but then now it's a little out there a little bit. So I just wanted to make sure I say F no to that.
Oh, there we go.
All right. So now it's my part. We have a special guest, an author of 3 children books, best content on the gram. He interviews your favorite players and also your favorite players' favorite players, and he's one of the best. His name is Billy the Batboy. Appreciate it so much. Thank you for joining Pinstripes Uncensored.
There we go.
Appreciate it.
Let's go. I appreciate the intro. Thank you for having me. It's great to be here, man. Both
That's
of you
my
guys.
first. That's my first time doing an intro. I always let TK do it. I'm like, I'm gonna take over. Hopefully, I didn't suck, but
That's great.
great to have you on, man.
There we
Before
go.
we,
No,
before we begin, let's take a moment to admire your studio. That's what we need to get right now.
no, I appreciate it. We got some of the memorabilia from throughout the years. You know, it's taken some years to really build it up, and some little artifacts here and there. So we got some stuff from my time working in independent baseball. We have some other stuff from Yankee Stadium, from different places. A lot of autographs too. So we try to mix it up with everything.
So I left.
Speaking of which, what is your favorite item on that wall right there?
Oh man, that's tough. Let's see. We have, man, this right here. I don't know if you could see it. It's a signed champagne bottle from the Jackals when we won the championship in 2019.
Wow.
So that was a cool one right there. This one right here is the ball from my final outing in college with the lineup card beneath it. And then we have some other random things as well. This one you can't see over here, but I have some stuff from different places I visited, some different random historical places throughout the country. But we have a lot of different artifacts, a lot of bobbleheads too, as you could imagine. So many bobbleheads.
Yeah.
But no, it's a lot of fun stuff. So a lot of great memories throughout the years.
So I left one thing out of the intro. At 11 years old, you was already a little goat. You were a goat. Now you're just a goat. How did
Yeah.
everything start for you since little?
Yeah, it really began just loving the game of baseball. I was a regular kid who just loved baseball, loved playing it. Grew up in a small town here in Jersey, and once I turned around 10 or 11 years old, I just wanted to find a way to get closer to the game. How could I learn more about it? I had that interest and that curiosity that a lot of kids have. And when I was 10, I used to go to New Jersey Jackals games a lot. They played independent baseball. It was great because you had close access to the players. You're able to meet them, get autographs, and have more of an intimate setting at Yogi Berra Stadium. And we asked one of the coaches, hey, how can I become a bat boy? My dad and I were trying to figure out how I can get involved with the team. And then when I was 11 years old in 2013 is when we were able to actually make it happen. And they put me on the schedule. We got myself locked into the bat boy routine and the schedule. And I was able to do that for that whole year. And it stuck. You know, I wanted to be at the ballpark every day. I fell in love with baseball even more deeply. And it was really just an exciting time to just be around a professional environment that not many kids at that age really had an opportunity to do. So I just kept doing that for years. I was a bat boy for 2013, 2014, 2015. It kept going, and I did it for about 7 years. And during that period of time, I realized I love this game so much. I love working with these players and being involved in this environment. I need to find a way to ultimately make this a career. How can I know I can't be a bat boy my whole life, but how can I work in this game somehow? And that's when I started to interview players. I decided to bring my phone and just write up a few questions for these guys. So in 2015 is when I started to interview some players there because I had the access. I was there anyway for my bat boy duties. I might as well grab a few guys after batting practice and ask them some questions. And that's how that began. And it's really just a matter of staying consistent, staying dedicated, driven, and really just focused throughout those next handful of years. And then ultimately I went to school for this, went to college to pursue a degree in sports communication, and I played baseball, club ball at Montclair State University. So between all that, those experiences with the pro guys, the love of the game, finding ways to continue to meet people and network and just be the best person I can be, that's been the whole goal, is just try to have an impact through the game of baseball. And then ultimately is when the books came about, and the whole concept of trying to give back to the next generation was something that I really wanted to focus on.
Wow.
You want to name? You have 3 children's book. Is that correct?
So I have 4. So I have 4. There's a series. Yeah, 4, and then no one really knows about it, but there's a 5th one coming. So it's about to be announced pretty soon. But we have 5 of them that are going to be out there. And then I have the first one, Passion Prevails, which is more of a thicker book for older kids. And then I have another guide where you could write in it that's coming out eventually, probably in the next maybe month or so, I would hope. But that one, no one actually knows about. So you guys might be some of the first ones to know about that one.
Let's go. Let's go.
Breaking news here on the show.
Is that breaking news? That's like the first breaking news we ever had on our show. So
Yeah. Might be
big,
some
big breaking news. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
So let's start with the first book.
Yes.
You want to just go from 1 through 4?
Sure. Yeah, I actually have them right here, so I can pull them up.
Just want to show everyone.
So the first one was Passion Prevails. That one's a thicker one. I don't think I have any more on this case right here, but it's really just a compilation of all the interviews I did throughout the years since 2015. I took all the interviews that I did that pertain to advice for younger players, how to deal with adversity, the challenges that you face in life and in the game of baseball. And I put them in a book to try to help inspire young players because so many kids quit. There was a stat when I was writing the book that 70% of young athletes before the age of 13, they quit. They stop playing. And that's before high school. Like they're done playing baseball. 70% are done playing baseball, football, soccer, whatever it is, sports in general, before they even get to high school. And that's because they're not having fun anymore. They stopped having fun. They no longer think it's something that they enjoy. It's more of a work thing. It's more of something that they have to do rather than something that they get to do. And I wanted to help kind of change the narrative there. And a lot of it has to do with how kids are coached, how their parents might raise them and being a bit hard on them when it comes to sports. I witnessed both sides of that. I understood what it was to love the game, and I understood what it was to really not have as much fun anymore. So I want to try to do what I can to help those kids in that way. So that was the first book. And then after that, I said, there are so many younger kids, children, who we want to make sure they have the right values as they step into their sport and step into their career on the field. So that's when the first one came out, Billy the Batboy Gains Confidence. And I want to make sure these kids are confident young athletes, that as they're entering sports, they're able to be confident, because a lot of kids, they quit because they might not have the confidence anymore. They might be made fun of by teammates. Maybe they're a leader. Maybe they're a young leader. They're supposed to be doing things differently, but at the same time, they're not really confident in themselves and in their abilities. So we want to make sure that that is one of the main things that they understand at a young age, is how to build that confidence and be a great teammate. Then we have here, Billy the Batboy leads by example. A lot of this is leadership, man. All this stuff, you want to be the best leader you can be. It's not always the most popular thing to do, because in society, a lot of people just want to fit in with everybody else. But if you want to be the best you can be, you have to separate yourself, and you have to be someone who stands out. And that's what Billy the Batboy does in that book, is he learns from the pros on how to be different, how to be a leader and separate yourself. I was fortunate to be in the actual clubhouse with a lot of these players at the minor league level, and they were leaders by example. They showed me how to do things the right way. So we kind of run through that in this book, where Billy is in the clubhouse with the players, and they teach him some lessons on being different and just showing the relatability there too. Because players at the professional level, they might have been made fun of when they were younger. They might have been told, why are you stretching like that? Why are you doing this extra work when you don't have to? But the guy who's determined, he gets it. He knows that he's got to do this in order to elevate himself and be the best he can be. And we got a couple others. One's Billy the Batboy and Selena the shortstop, more about dealing with the mental side of the game. He brings his friend Selena the shortstop into the coach's office, and the coach, his name is Skip. That's what we love calling managers in the game of baseball, Skip. And he gives Selena some advice on how to deal with the mental challenges that could come about when dealing with failure and adversity. And then the last two, we have Billy the Batboy Eats Healthy. In today's world, a lot of people are not eating too healthy. There's really an epidemic right now with what people are eating, what they're consuming. We're one of the unhealthiest countries, and so many young kids are just overweight or obese, and we want to help them become the best they can be when it comes to their diet and their physical fitness and all that kind of stuff. And then the last thing that's coming out is the book called Billy the Batboy Includes Others, because they made me feel at home when I was in that clubhouse. They included me, and the book's really about Billy and the players, including a kid who has a disability. He wants him to be in the dugout with them because he's kind of uncomfortable in that environment at the stadium with a lot of people, a lot of noises and everything. And Billy wants to make sure that he feels at home and he enjoys the game, and the players treat him real well. So that's kind of the series right there in a nutshell, what to expect with it all. And like I said, we just want to make sure these kids have the right values as they grow up in their sport.
Awesome. Okay. So last week we actually had a guy who creates baseball comic book manga series.
Wow.
What was we asked him what was his process like. So what was your process like creating those children's books?
Yeah, I think a lot of the inspiration came from my past experiences. So I already had a lot of those stories and those thoughts in my mind. It was really about getting them on paper, getting them written down, spending time just jotting all that information down in those stories. But then I had to find an illustrator. And then once I found her, she did a nice job at bringing it to life, really. I pretty much created a little bit of a sort of a template or a storyboard in Canva just to lay out my ideas and how I kind of want it to look. And then I sent that over to her, and she was able to really bring it to life. And then there's a back and forth that goes on and just trying to perfect things a little bit. But that was really the process. And, I knew that there were some lessons that I wanted to touch on, some different topics, and we were able to touch on those in these different books. But the process was a nice one. It took some time, but then once you get the hang of it, especially the first one, once the first one is completed, you sort of have an understanding and a relationship with the illustrator of how you want things to continue, how you want things to look in the next book. And you already have the characters created for the most part, unless you're adding somebody new. And that's really how the process went down. It was pretty smooth, and it was really an efficient way to do it. And now the next step is to really just get these books in the hands of kids, talk to these kids at schools. I'm heading to an author visit pretty soon in Pennsylvania, so I'm looking forward to that, to talk to some kids across many grade levels in elementary school, and we'll see what comes next after that.
So when I see you, when we were in the Rock Reggio camp, I saw you talking to the kids.
Yeah.
You're right there, front and center. Where did you know you had that it factor to just stand there and just speak?
Yeah, it's funny because I was always a shy kid growing up. I was never somebody who was very outspoken. I kind of kept to myself a lot. I feel like when I started working in the game of baseball and I was around those players, I felt very comfortable, very at home. I was talking to a former player who I worked with during my first year, so he knew me since I was real young, and he remembered that I was kind of quiet, but at the same time, I was interested in learning and just observing. And I feel like over the years, I've gotten more comfortable at speaking and then just absorbing all that information, everything I've witnessed, and then now be able to share that. So as I've just gained all those experiences, I feel like it's time to, obviously I put together these books, but now it's time to really share those messages with these kids verbally and talk to them and just relate to them in a way, because I'm a younger guy myself. I feel like I can relate well to younger kids, and I feel like it's part of my purpose to do that. It's a special thing when you're able to just have a positive impact on people, especially the kids growing up who were in your shoes. Like you grew up being in their shoes when you were younger. You remember playing the game of baseball. You remember going to a camp. You remember meeting some players or people who had some influence. I remember those moments, and the players always treated me well, and now I want to be able to impact those younger players. So at first it might be a little uncomfortable because you never really did a lot of that before. But then over time, I've done quite a few speaking engagements and author visits and interviews with different news outlets, and I feel like it's something that just came over time. At first, if you told me 5 years ago, 6 years ago that I'd be doing something like this right now, I'd be like, what? Billy's writing books. I never liked reading. I never liked to read, but now I'm writing books. It's funny how things work, and I just feel like I was called to do that.
So during your time as a Batboy, did you notice like anything, like what separated the successful players from the unsuccessful players, like work habits, I guess how they carry themselves out, or like rituals?
Sure. Absolutely. There were some, it's funny because there were so many talented players I worked with, and some didn't make it to the highest level. There were so many who just somehow missed it. And there were some that it was part of the game because there just weren't opportunities at that time. There's sometimes luck involved. There's some situational things that happen, but there were definitely examples of players who put in a lot of extra work. And I remember a time, I mentioned it somewhere else, I think, but there was a player during my first season who previously made it to the big leagues. He made it to the big leagues with the Dodgers at one point, and he was one of two players on that team who played in the major leagues. He, one day during a very hot day, nobody was taking batting practice. It was an optional BP day, cage day, and he was the only guy hitting in that cage. He was the only guy hitting, and he was one of the two players on that team who played in the big leagues. So things don't happen by accident. So you put the extra work in, you have that kind of mentality. When a lot of players didn't want to do it, didn't want to put in the extra work, he was doing it. And that's something that I kept with me as well. You have to know that even when other people aren't doing it, or they might even be like, Billy, what are you doing? Why are you doing all that extra stuff? That's what it takes. That's what it takes to excel. That's what it takes to be the greatest you can be. And you have to have that mentality. If you don't have that mentality and aren't willing to stand out and be different, then chances are you're going to just be like everybody else. And that's the kind of mindset I try to have. And that's the story that really stuck with me. But there are always examples of that. I feel like a lot of players who did excel are constantly making adjustments or trying to find ways to get better. How can I make an adjustment to my pitch repertoire? Is there a certain mechanical part of my delivery that needs to be tweaked? Some players who really don't care as much won't put in that extra effort. So you see all that stuff, and it's definitely it was a great experience to be able to witness that firsthand, because that's what these guys do if you want to make it to the highest level.
Great.
Yeah.
Billy, this is probably the first time that we are left speechless.
Hey, man, it's
like,
it's all true. It's true stuff. It takes a lot of effort, even with what I'm doing right now. Yeah, you see the stuff on social media, but the behind the scenes stuff could be sometimes grueling. You have to appreciate the boredom of the consistency of doing the same things over and over again, and editing videos. There are a lot of days I don't feel like editing. I just don't feel like editing the videos that I have to edit. And sometimes I procrastinate a little bit, but I know I got to get it done. I have to just get it done. It's part of the process. And then the great things will happen. Those other things, those great moments, those opportunities will come. But there are sometimes moments where it can be a little bit tougher, just like the players. They go through moments too, whether it's an injury, whether it's just a cold stretch at the plate, whatever it is, they go through those similar seasons as well. But you have to just grind through it and know that what's going to happen is something great in the near future. That's it.
Okay, I don't know if my co-host knows this, but I saw on Facebook you're friendly with Fernando Cruz, former New York Jackal, former New Jersey Jackal, now with the Yankees. You explain like your friendship with him and any like teaching or like that you've noticed from him that translate to you, and what makes him successful here in New York.
For sure. He's a great guy. I'm so happy for him. He deserves every bit of the opportunity he's getting. Somebody who's just grinding his butt off while playing here in Jersey. I worked with him for a couple years, and he was someone he definitely stood out. He was so passionate. He loved the game of baseball. He wanted to play. His family was always into it as well. And it's funny. I remember playing catch with him back in, I think, 2017. And he was throwing me something. I'm like, what in the world is he throwing me? He's like, it's going to go this way. I'm like, trying to catch it the right way. I don't know what he's doing. And I couldn't really catch it too well. And usually I was able to catch those guys, just playing catch. But he was throwing something that was way different. And I was like, I was feeling bad. I'm like, how am I not catching this ball? Years and years later, I'm seeing him now pitch at the big league level. And I'm like, no wonder why. He was probably throwing me the splitter. So I don't feel as bad now because it's just an insane pitch. Mm-hmm. But we, just being able to watch him is another example of someone who put in the extra work. He was grinding for many years. You never know if the opportunity is going to come or not. I think one of the lessons from him, obviously, his faith is super important to him, and he's been so dedicated in that. So I know that that's helped him just keep going. But when you're unsure if the opportunities are going to come, that's difficult. That's difficult. I think all of us can relate to that in a certain way, where there are times where there's a lot of uncertainty in our lives and our careers. We don't know if we're going to get a certain opportunity. We don't know if something is going to work out. But he had that unwavering faith and belief that he knew one day that opportunity would come. And he didn't second guess that. He kept going. He kept pushing through. And now he's playing for the New York Yankees 9 years later after I worked with him. So it might not happen overnight either. I'm sure he thought back in 2017, 2018, that he deserved an opportunity. He deserved to be in AAA. He deserved to be in the big leagues, not in indie ball. But sometimes things take a little bit longer. So I think that patience as well, that persistence, those kinds of lessons also apply to someone like him and his story. And that's what I've learned a lot from him about. So he's another inspiration of mine. I'm inspired by a lot of different people, and he's one of those guys.
And now you're inspiring CK and I. So
it's a gift that keeps on giving, Yeah. You're honestly, though, you're inspired by other people. You're able to put that out as well. You never know who you can impact. That's the way things work. That's the way this community is. Some people in the world, they really don't want to give, and they really don't want to help others. They're more focused on themselves and just what they can take. But I feel like it's really fruitful when you're able to pass along that gift and help push that on to others and inspire and uplift other people.
Yeah, I can totally relate. That's why I gravitate towards Luke Weaver, like his belief in God, like his perseverance, like coming back from injuries, like former first-round pick, failed starter now too, down reliever. That's why I gravitate towards Luke Weaver. So I appreciate you mentioned that about Fernando Cruz.
Absolutely. And it's never a straight line. You think, oh, I'm going to get drafted, then I'm going to play in single A, double A, triple A, the big leagues, and stay there and maybe become an all-star. It's very, very, very rarely is it one straight trajectory, one linear line. A lot of times in this game or in life, it's a bunch of up and downs, right? You don't know when those highs and lows are going to come, those injuries, those failed starter, whatever it is, that happens. So you have to just be even keeled at all times, have a positive mindset, know that the tough situation I'm going through is going to be ultimately for my good. And then you got to keep moving forward. There's plenty of times where you might deal with some of that, and you just got to have the right perspective. Because if you have the wrong perspective, it's easy to get swallowed up in those down moments, those lows, and then you can really just it's tougher to get out of that hole then.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna keep it real. This is like the first time that CK. I always like going back and forth. I know what to say. First time, I'm all ears. This is just amazing.
I guess I'm taking over now.
Yeah. No, like this is like the first time that I'm ever like speechless. Like I know Billy for a little while already, and he's just amazing. So just getting to be here and listening to everything, this is probably going to be our favorite episode, I should say.
I love that.
But
I love that. No,
I did meet Fernando Cruz. I think it was last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago. Life flies by so quick. Who knows?
Yeah.
First thing he did, I was in the back room. So I just want to give a quick shout out to Mama D's empanadas. Like, they are amazing.
I heard they got some good empanadas. Is that true?
They do.
I gotta get down there one day.
I'm not kidding. I'm not saying this because I know them. I'm being for real. They have one of the best empanadas you could ever eat.
Wow.
It's great.
Are they baked or fried? Do you know?
They fried, I believe.
They fried. Okay. One day I got to get there. I met the owner, and I saw him at another event, and he seemed like a cool guy. So I definitely got to get down there at some point, man. It's like an hour away from me, but one of these days, one time we'll get down there.
Yeah. You have to go. You got to stop by. Food is amazing. They treat you like family no matter who you are. And I just love everything about them. So they invited me over to the event. I was in the back room. First thing, he prayed for everyone in there.
Wow.
It was a special moment. He treated every fan like family. Fernando Cruz, he's one of the greats. Like, as a person, as a player, I love everything about him. So hearing you say that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I was there for it. I seen everything. He was teaching someone how to. It was a kid that went up to him, was say, "How do you throw the splitter?" He was like, "No, you're too young for that. Don't you?" He said, "Don't you dare try doing that." He did teach him, but he goes, "Don't throw it. Just don't do that to yourself." I love everything about him. He is one of my favorites.
That's great. Yeah, it's guys like that really have an impact on this game. Mm-hmm. You hear about the star players all the time, the Aaron Judges, who are fantastic, but it's these other stories too that are really impactful, and you never know who these other guys can impact. And I feel like it's important for the supporting cast in a way, the supporting players who are not necessarily your star athletes, but the guys who are also important. It's important for those players to also be in the community and just be part of what we're trying to do here in the New York, New Jersey, tri-state area of inspire these kids. They're really inspiring younger kids out there, and it's great to see. Even JC Escarra, I know he's in AAA right now, but he was somebody who's also been around, and he's another good guy in the game. And just interactions like that, you never know what that can do for somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, that was actually my next question about JC Escarra, actually. So bringing back to Mama D's, actually my first time there with the King of Pinstripes, we met JC Escarra there. Standout class, that guy too.
Yeah.
And shout out to Frank Luna for making that happen. Good guy, Frank, as well.
Yep.
So
that's
we
great.
saw that you did an interview with JC Escarra talking about cologne collection. Did he help? Yes. Did he step up your cologne collection? I have to ask.
It's so funny. I interviewed him in AA last year. Man, it feels like a long time ago. Like it's the way things are moving right now. It's just crazy. He's
I
already
told you.
he got up to the big leagues, and it's great to see what he was able to do. Just the journey he was on. But he told me about that cologne collection. I'm like, what? That 100 different cologne, like all these different colognes. But hey, everyone's got something, right? Everyone's got some type of collection. You know, if some people saw my baseball card collection, they think I'm a complete nut. But I'd say for JC, it's funny because the Patriots at one point did a little video about it too. I think they captured a piece of content in his locker with all of the cologne that he had there. I mean, I'm sure he had more at home, but he had a lot in the locker. Mm-hmm. And I used that video clip as B-roll in my video. And it was proof that, hey, he actually does have a lot of cologne. And I don't know how you pick from it. I don't know. You know, I guess it's based on the vibe or where you're going or what. Yeah. I got one bottle that I use for every occasion. So maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know. But I do have more than one, but I never use any other except the one I use. So
same.
That's the way I roll. You know, I think I get too overwhelmed if I had too many of those bottles.
Yeah, really. We're gonna store them too. Like,
yeah,
draws are filled enough here.
You can start selling them. Yeah,
that's true.
At one point, I had 3. Now I'm like just one. Whenever it finishes, I get another one. So speaking of JC, we met him at Mama D's Empanadas. Again, one of the best. I saw him yesterday. I went to AAA.
Yeah.
Every time he sees me, he already recognizes me. He's such a great guy. We was there talking maybe for about a minute or so.
Yeah.
We had to warm up, so I wasn't trying to bother him. And I love JC. Like CK says, just a great guy. Love everything about him. But I was with him yesterday. He looks happy. He just told me he's working each and every day, working hard. That's what he said.
That's all you got to do, man. It's no matter where you are, you have to treat it like you're at the big league level. Whether you're in AAA or the big leagues, it's the same work ethic, the same mentality, the same everything. And then when you get that call again, you're doing the same thing anyway. And I look at it, you know, the mentality I have too is everything is important. Nothing is special. So every opportunity that I have, I treat as important. So in his case, if he treats every one of his at-bats in AAA the same, when he gets to the big leagues, he's got to treat it the same way as well. And it won't be as much, there won't be as much pressure. It won't be this crazy difference because he treated the big league at-bat and the AAA at-bat the same. The preparation pregame in AAA is the same as the big leagues. So once you treat something as special, then it's tough, you know, and that's a lesson for everybody, really. Whatever they go into, everything's important. I look at every single opportunity as important, and these guys, I think they do the same thing.
When you think of adversity, what do you think of adversity itself? Is that something that you see as a challenge, something that you're like, all right, this is happening now, but it's okay. I love it. I grow. I learn.
Yeah, I'd say it's evolved for me. It's evolved. I'd say at first when I was younger, you know, you're immature, you're young. I'd say that I was kind of upset whenever something didn't go my way or go according to my plan. But then as I've gotten older, I've realized even in the moment, like that's the toughest thing in the moment as something's happening that you don't want to happen, to recognize, hey, something right here is happening that I don't want to happen, but I know that ultimately it's going to be for my good, or I know that ultimately I'm going to be able to pull something out of this that's a positive. So even in those tricky moments when things aren't going your way, you don't want to lash out. You don't want to get all upset. You want to know that, hey, something's going to come of this that's pretty good. Right now, it's not fun to deal with, but I have to just take it in and we'll apply it to my life as we move forward here. So I'd say that for players especially, they have a bad day at the plate. They're not going too crazy. They're not, you know, you don't want to be slamming things all over the place either, right? But you know that, hey, I'm going to review this tape. I'm going to watch this video. I'm going to see how I can improve, and we're going to apply it to tomorrow. And we're going to make sure that this error that I made isn't replicated, or this base running mistake isn't going to be repeated again. We're just going to move on and find a way to get better. So it's never fun to go through, but I'd say as you get older and you really try to focus on how to take advantage of that adversity and spin it into a positive, I feel like we're able to do that. I feel like we can really just reach a level that's that's definitely more mature. And I feel like a lot of these players talking about these things helps a lot. A lot of the players, everyone deals with it. But you have to learn. So just going through that stuff and then quickly realizing that, hey, I don't want this to happen, but guess what? I'm going to have to deal with it and take something out of it. That's the way to go, I think.
Okay, so we're 47 minutes into the interview. Speaking of time flies, we're already 47
Wow.
minutes in. So I don't know if it's a transition to go talk Yanks now, but we met at the Talking Yanks Aaron Boone event.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, before that event, I didn't really think much of Aaron Boone, but seeing how he was a nice guy made me like him a little bit more. Like, seeing what you're seeing right now, what's your thoughts on Aaron Boone?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good guy. I agree, and I feel like he's somebody who is overall, I'm not saying as a manager, but overall is a good guy and well liked. I think around the game he's well respected. As far as a manager, look, man, I think he's dealing with what he's got too. I feel like it's not an easy gig, right? It's not an easy gig. You're going to be criticized no matter what you do. I feel like the way the game's moved, there are some decisions that we see made even across the board, across the league, that I probably wouldn't make. Whether it's you got to have this certain matchup or this analytically driven decision is made, that you would have multiple managers making the same move. I'm not necessarily a fan of some of those types of decisions. I kind of want to see whether it's a pitcher finish the inning, or you don't care about the fact that this one guy, a reliever, is slightly better against this hitter, that I got to bring him in for that batter. Let the starting pitcher finish the inning. Like things like that, I don't always agree with. Whether it's a move that he makes or a move that other managers make, it's just the way the game's moving. And I'd say even the lineup construction, I like seeing. I'm an old school guy in a way. I'm more of both. Like I have old school principles with this, but then also I'm open to information. But I like seeing the same lineup every day. I like seeing the same guys in the same spots, and then you can swap in and out some guys in the lower half of that lineup. That's the way I look at it. But I think we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this postseason, with how this shakes out. They might get in as a wild card spot. It'll be tougher maybe to win the division, but it's still a possibility. But I hate when you have to start relying on other teams to lose. That's something that it's just not in your hands then, right? But ultimately, it's the team's fault for not putting themselves in that better position to be the division winner. You deserve to lose if you have to rely on some other team to lose. So we'll see what happens with that. But I don't think I could give you a straight answer until after the season's over, once we see how that shakes out. But after last year, after being in the World Series, I feel like we should be in a better position.
All right, so two-part question.
Yeah.
One of them, should the Yankees fire Boone after the season? 2, analytics, you think is messing up baseball?
Well, he just said you want to wait till after the season.
I know, but that's it. That's the thing. Because there's a lot of people that hates Boone, him, want him gone for years, each and every year. All right, time to get rid of him. Time for you. Do you think it's time really to move on, or give them another year, see what they could do? And then 2, analytics, is it messing up the game? Because you said you're both.
Yeah, I'd say this is what I'd say with that. I'd say the first thing I would do is I would wait for the season to be over to reevaluate everything. But honestly, I don't think it's just a Aaron Boone thing. I feel like it's a much deeper issue or situation, because you're thinking this isn't just him. He's a piece to the puzzle, but then you have the philosophical reasons and the thought processes that come from up top as well, and come from the organization. The minor league system, if there are players who are coming up through your system who aren't great defenders or aren't great on the bases or are making so many baseball IQ driven mistakes, is that really the fault of the major league coach, or is that an issue that's more deeply embedded in the minor league system? So this is more, I feel like it's more of a deeper issue than just the major league staff. I feel like this is more of what are minor leaguers focusing on? What are these guys truly focusing on in the minor leagues? Are they focused on launch angle and exit velo only? or are they focusing on the fundamentals mostly at the minor league level? I don't know. I haven't spent enough time watching the minor league team to see what they do pregame and what they focus on. But I'd say that I'd have to take a real deep look into what's happening, because it's like saying, we're just gonna. It's like looking for a scapegoat, really. You're looking for somebody to just blame, but in reality, the issue might be much more deep. So I'd say let's see how the season shakes out, and then I'd say if it doesn't go according to the plan of the Yankees, or really result in a way that the fans want to see, then I'd say that there's something that they have to do to look more inward. They have to look more inward then and see, is this the way that they want to move forward? Are analytics taking over in a way, our organization in a way that is preventing us from really reaching our true potential? So that's what I'd look at. And I think as far as the analytics, I'd say it's a great tool. I'd say it's something that is important, but at the same time, I don't like a lot of decisions being dictated before the game even begins. They go over situations and say, if this guy faces this guy, he comes up to bat in the 7th inning, this guy's coming in for sure. I don't know, because you don't know if a guy's hot or cold that day. If you look at relievers, you don't know if a certain guy is going to be on that day. He might be off. For example, if a pitcher goes 5 innings or 6 innings, you have 6, 7, 8, 9, or 7, 8, 9. You have 3 or 4 innings for the bullpen, and you go with one reliever for each of those innings. That's 3 or 4 relievers. You then have to have each of those relievers on. All of them have to be dominant that day, and you might not get that. You might get that, but you might not get that, and it's tough because I like seeing pitchers go deeper into games. So then the margin for error is much smaller. So then if you throw in 1 or 2 relievers, there's a better chance that they'll get the job done, as opposed to 3, 4, or 5, because you never know who's going to have a bad day.
So we talked about adversity. We talked about the minor league system. Anthony Volpe.
Yeah.
What do you think is happening to Anthony Volpe? Because now he's on pretty much on an island by himself. All eyes is on him every time he's out there. Ball is hit to him. Everyone holds their breath, including the batting box. What do you think is happening to him? Is it just mental?
I think a lot of it's mental. I really do. I feel like he needs an extended period of time off, focusing on the fundamentals. I feel like he should be at the big league level, but work with him a lot pregame. I don't think it's fair to put him in there every night. Caballero is obviously the better option, and you can't sugarcoat what's happened with Volpe. You really can't. And I hate when I see that. You can't sugarcoat it. It hasn't been great. So you have to. I think if you put him in AAA and things don't go well there, then that it's not a good. I don't think that's a good idea. I'd try to keep him at the big league level. Work with him though. You could use him as a pinch runner. You could use him in certain situations, but I would say really focus on just settling him down mentally, focusing on certain fundamental things that are what all guys usually focus on, especially when they're in a funk. And then focus on winning now with the guys who can help you win now. Obviously, Caballero's that guy right now at this moment. But as far as Volpe goes, we'll see if they give him an opportunity next year. But I'd say for the rest of this year, they just got to focus on settling him down, clearing his mind a little bit. And things happen. You really don't know how that injury affected him. You don't know. They say, you think about Rizzo last year when that concussion was undetected for months, right? I mean, you never know what happens behind the scenes. There might be things that we don't know. So you have to just play it out, and hopefully he'll straighten it out. I think he's a good guy, and I think he's a good player overall, but there are things like this that happen in this game. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think he's got good ghost mode during the offseason, and maybe have some chicken farm as well. So
yeah, I think that'll be important. I think it'll be important for him to get his mind off the game a little bit, and then just get back to it, and then focus on the fundamentals again and the basics. I feel like though he does try to hit homers too much, and his role, he's not that kind of guy. He's the kind of guy we need in that lineup, who's hitting singles the other way, who's a gap to gap hitter. That's the kind of player we need from him. We're not trying to make him an Aaron Judge type player. We're not trying to make him a guy like Stanton. He's not that kind of player. So each player has to be doing this thing individually, and that's what we need. We need his body and his type of player to shine through, not try to be someone who he's not.
Yeah, realistically, his skill set is like a singles, double hitter, and the speed too. And he should be, with his skill set, he should be like the ultimate leadoff hitter. Just we haven't seen it yet. So
right. So we'll see. You know, I hope they realize that. But the way this game is moving, everyone wants to see the long ball, and for him in particular, that's not his kind of game.
All right, back to the psyche of the game. What do you think went wrong with Devin Williams, or do you think another year in New York would do good for him, or like what's wrong with him?
I just don't think he's fit for New York.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think plain and simply, you look at the body language in particular on the mound, I just don't think he's fit for New York. I feel like you look at Bednar, it seems like he's more locked in. You look at Fernando, another example. He's an animated, emotional player, but you see that he fits in well. I just don't know if Williams is that guy. I don't know if he's someone who can take it here. I really don't. So, he's a free agent, and maybe he'll go back to a smaller market club and see what happens there. But, I wish him the best, whether he's here or not. He seems like another good guy, but look, we've seen it time and time again. Some players, it's just not a good fit. It's just not a good fit. So he might be one of those players too.
So allegedly, because I always say the word allegedly because I love that word. You don't get in trouble. You can say whatever you want. He came in with a cocky attitude right away. Again, this is the allegedly part. He was complaining about the beard and the rules and all that. So I think that was already the start of it. The downfall, I believe. My opinion, I know it's stupid, but we Yankee fans, we take that very serious when it comes to who the hell are you coming in talking about the beard situation. But
yeah, I don't know. I know he had a kid too this season, so maybe there's stuff personally that he's going through as well. I have no clue. I really don't. And that was funny. He was the guy to kind of like help break the barrier with the beard situation, which is pretty funny. But it's probably inevitable regardless. It probably would have happened anyway, whether it was this year or next year with somebody else. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard it. I haven't heard that. But you wish everybody the best. But some people, it's just not a good setup for them. It's just not a good situation. So maybe that's the case. And you want to see guys do well. You want to see them have success, and even if it's not here. So we'll see how that plays out.
So I don't know if you're familiar with blind ranking players.
Oh, right.
Okay, so I'm also from North Jersey, so
yeah,
I want you to blind rank these MLB players from New Jersey. I'm gonna name 5 players. I think 1 being the best, 5 being the worst.
All right.
Let's start off with number 5. Arizona Diamondbacks free agent who could be a Yankee, Zach Allen.
Okay, I'm gonna go 3.
3. Wow. Okay. Tom the finest. Oh, yes, you can explain yourself.
Okay. No. I'd say 3. He's a good pitcher, but I might regret it. I might want to put him 4, but you never know. We'll see what you say next.
All right, Tom River finest, Todd Frazier.
Okay, I'm gonna put 2.
Oh, dang. All right, Hall of Famer from Patterson, Larry Doby.
Oh man, you got me there. I was not expecting that. Man, I'm gonna. Yeah, this is gonna be rough. I told you I should have put Gallon 4. He'll have to be 1, and I know I'm gonna regret the fact that I didn't leave a slot open for 2.
Yes, you are. Mike Trout.
Yeah. That was gonna be up there. So I'm gonna have to put him 4? There's only 4 and 5 open.
I told you did Zach Allen, Larry Doby.
I think there was
Todd Frazier.
Man, oh man.
Okay, yeah, I got one more. Yep. Okay. From Burn Catholic. Could it be the manager of the Yankees, manager Team USA, Mark DeRosa?
Oh man, I guess he's 5. That's a good group, man. Yep. There's so many guys from Jersey who you kind of forget about that were actually from Jersey, and even Jeter's a guy too who was born
North
here.
Aquatic, yeah.
Yeah.
You went to high
Pretty
school in
cool.
Michigan, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Speaking
great.
of Jersey, actually, I got a question. So we got powerhouses like Don Bosco, Del Bar, and St. Joe's. Even Burn Catholic's making himself a powerhouse in baseball. Where do you think New Jersey ranks amongst high school baseball now?
Yeah, I think Jersey's got some talent, man, especially pitching because it's easier to train as a pitcher in this state. But the problem is obviously the weather in the beginning of the season, in the off season, training and everything. Guys in Florida, Texas, California have an advantage in that way. But I'd say Jersey is definitely a spot where there's a lot of talent. There are many great instructors. I've been able to check out some different facilities in the area, and we got some good facilities. But I'd say Jersey's it's underrated, I'd say, when it comes to the talent produced. We have a lot of good players. I know Chase Petty's another guy who was drafted recently. He's a
red system, right?
Yeah, pretty big prospect, and he's another one. So there are some good guys. So I would say I'd rank them pretty highly, but I think it's always going to be the hit on Jersey is going to be the fact that you can't play outside all year round. It's the weather in the off season and everything that could stunt the growth a little bit. But look, you got guys like Mike Trout, you got guys like Todd Frazier who were able to be major league really solid hitters. And so there's no excuse really when it comes to it. There are guys who are able to do it.
Speaking of Jersey, there's a big event coming up on the 21st. As you know, I know you're going to be there. Yogi's Big Catch Challenge. Is there anyone, I know you mentioned it in the video, it'll be Derek Jeter, but other than Derek Jeter, who would you like to play catch with?
Oh, yeah. I'd say Jeter's up there. Yogi Berra would be awesome. Babe Ruth. Some of the Yankee legends. I mean, you think about some of these guys and what they did in Pinstripes, I'd say that those guys would be up there. And it's going to be a great event, man. I'd say if anyone's in the area, Yogi Berra Stadium on this coming Sunday, it's going to be a great day. Get your tickets for it. We're going to break a world record, so that'll be pretty cool. And Yogi's plaque from the Hall of Fame is going to be there as well. So it'll be a fun day. And I know a lot of players have been answering that question about who they'd want to have a catch with. And it's something that brings people together. You think about some of your most fun moments growing up with your family, with your friends, is just a matter of playing catch, right? It's just the act of playing catch. So I'd say that those three guys would be at the top of my list. But what about you guys? Who'd you say?
Well, I answered mine in the video. Shout out to the Twin reporters for
Weaver.
All right. So he said Luke Weaver.
Yep.
Mine was like yours, Derek Jeter, because he's like my idol growing up. My Derek Jeter for me, everything. If I have to pick someone else other than Jeter, it might be Yogi himself as well.
Wow.
Like, I'm not saying it because it's Yogi.
Right.
It's that amazing event that's gonna happen. But Yogi is someone that I wish I saw played, but know everything about him. And I think it would be Yogi. Just hearing his stories. Wow, I think just playing catch. So yeah, I think Yogi will be my next answer.
It's a good one right there. There we go.
Yeah, if it wasn't Weaver, the cop-out answer would be Jeter. Let's see. I think maybe Andy Pettit, guy who also battled adversity. I don't know, like that. But then again, he might throw too hard, hurt my hand.
Yep. He was pretty good.
Yeah, really good. I guess maybe Jorge Bassad. Just want to see that fire, intensity, and drive, like when playing catch, how that translates.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Love it. That's great.
So, you any like projects or besides the book and want the audience to know about?
Yeah, it's really just the books, the author visits. I'm going to be ramping up some more of those, going to some schools, and we'll see what's next. I'm always open to different opportunities. I'd say I'd probably like to be part of an organization again. I kind of miss that team environment, that team feel. I've had some great times working for the minor league team. So maybe there's a next step I can make with that, maybe for next season or something. We'll see what happens. But maybe if an opportunity comes up rest of this year, going into next year, that would be great to hop on. But right now it's really just continuing to build up, continuing to inspire these kids, and we'll see what comes up. Really, this industry is pretty wild and things happen when you least expect it. and you got to keep putting in the work. So that's the main thing. It's got to be on that grind. And I know you guys are working hard too. And that's what it's all about. So we'll see.
All right, well, Billy, it's been awesome having you. Thanks for jumping on and bringing that insight as always. And we look forward to seeing you on the 21st.
Yeah. No, thank you guys for having me. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun day this Sunday.
All right, let's go, Yankees.
Really, I just want to say thank you for jumping on. You threw me off my game like from the beginning. Just everything you were saying, I wanted to listen. You're amazing, inspiration. No matter the age difference, just know that you're inspiring everyone. So
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you so much, man.
No, that means a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Have a good one.
Well, we're blown away by that interview. This guy over here didn't really talk much, as you can tell.
Let me tell you, it was one of the greatest episode. We had amazing guests leading up to today. Even better. Well, I shouldn't say better because we had amazing guests, but just hearing how inspiring he is, everything that he's doing, I felt like I wanted to listen a lot more than speaking. It's just amazing. Billy is amazing, and I appreciate you for joining us on Pinstripes Uncensored for episode 19. So thank you, Billy, for everything.
Oh, yeah, and if you guys are going to be at the Yogi Berra Catch Day, like we said, we're all going to be there. Billy's going to be there too. If you see us, say what's up. All right. We'll see you guys in episode 20, and if you see us, say what's up. We love interacting with you guys. Other than that, we'll see you on episode 20. Let's go, Yanks.
Go, Yanks. Let's go.